Make sure your insurance doesn't come up short. Get gap cover with ALA. For more information, follow the links in the description.
Hello everybody. I think there is not a car guy on planet Earth who isn't familiar with that feeling of elation followed by instant disappointment, then back to joy followed by depression, and then rinse and repeat. And for me, the last month and a half has been that in extremis. And it all began here at Blyton Park 6 weeks ago. But what happened since, what is continuing to happen, and why exactly is it this month and a half has been quite so entertaining for me? Well, it all began with a Rover. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you a classic car guy tale of victory, defeat, and how to make lemonade out of life's automotive lemons. Enjoy. I'll begin with a little bit of background. This whole thing starts in a pub garden 6 and a bit weeks ago. It was the night before my annual birthday track day, where I hire out Blyton Park for a few friends and I to come down in our cars and have a little bit of fun. We all tend to meet up at a local pub the night before, have some drinks, have some food, and just shoot the breeze. Now, unfortunately, the day before this event, my Ferrari F12 had shredded its alternator belt. All of my other cars were either away for service, in storage, and effectively unavailable. In essence, I was coming to my own party empty-handed, which is very frustrating. But in truth, it started me thinking, do you know what? I do enjoy taking the Ferraris on track, but they're not really natural track animals, except the Scuderia, which is possibly too loud for most circuits anyway. And I thought, you know what? I'd love a nice, cheap, low-maintenance track car. Popped on eBay, found a few cheap-looking things, and saw a listing for an old Rover 100, which to most people is just a Metro with a bit of a silly frock on it. And that's because that's exactly what it is. This car had been converted about 10-15 years ago by a company called Talon Sports Cars and subsequently competed or campaigned with quite some success. We decided that it would be a lovely thing to have. However, I just didn't have any money. Behind my back, my friends, the lovely people that they are, clubbed together and bought it for me as a birthday present, which is nice. However, the car not having been MOT'd for over 4 years, I decided before I took it on track, I wanted it inspected. Because even though its primary purpose is a track car, I still wanted to make sure that it was, in basic terms, safe. So keen and excited was I to get this car on track, I booked it a track day with another company at Snetterton. A few of my friends also said, you know what, this was great, we should do another one of these before the summer goes. So I spoke to Blyton Park and they said, yeah, actually, we have a cancellation for a day in September you can have, but at this point in time, it was less than a month away. So I thought, you know what, sod it, let's do it. We got the Rover on the ramp, pulled off the sills, pulled off the trims, and found this. Yeah, it's quite crusty. Now at this point in time, I also started thinking, do you know what? This is so much fun. This is so good doing things this way. I think this is something that I should do for the channel, you know. Years and years ago, I did used to do this and sell track days, and now I've got a much bigger platform to reach a lot more people. I think I want to make a go of this again. So I was a little bit nervous about, you know, advertising it because there's fear of failure and fear that nobody will turn up to your party. I mean, there's a reason you've never seen a JayEmm fest, and that's because I'm honestly convinced that nobody will come. But I had about 10 of my friends said they could definitely make it. So I thought, do you know what? We've got about a dozen more spaces to sell. Let's hope and see if we can sell them. Sold them in about 12 hours, which is nice. I then booked another day in November, sold that out in about 24 hours. So I booked another one and sold that out in 48 hours. I've had to now book another day in November. And if you want to come and join me here on track, well, follow the link in the description down below. And if you missed it, fear not, we're definitely going to be doing a bit more of this. However, once again, I did not want to turn up at my own event without a suitable car. The Scuderia is now sorted and fixed, but I'm also worried it's still going to be too loud and I haven't collected it. But something else came up and was offered to me at very tempting money, which was a already half-completed track car project. And I thought, yeah, this is a no-brainer. This is my new purchase. And as you can see, it's going very well indeed. This is a 2003 Mini Cooper S with the 1.6 litre supercharged engine. On the road, these things are an absolute riot, and with minimal modification, they are a track weapon too. In fact, I think they are one of the best bang for buck fun cars for either road or track you can currently buy. And we picked this one up, an already half-finished, low-budget track car for just £1,800. And if you know these cars, you'll know that is incredibly cheap, particularly when you take account of the fact this one is a genuine John Cooper Works example. I even have the original certificate proving this car is not just a JCW upgraded one, it was actually fitted by Cooper themselves. Normally you'd pay quite a bit for these. And I expect you're thinking, that price has got to be because there's a catch. Well, you're right, but it wasn't one that was obvious at the start. The only thing we did know was that it was a running, driving car which had been taken successfully on a couple of track days, but a couple of years ago was laid up, and so hadn't been MOT'd for a couple of years. But because the owner was known to us and the car itself was also known, my good buddy Will was able to give it a cursory inspection, look at it and say, yeah, I reckon we can probably get this through the MOT. And we did. There were a couple of advisories, fairly minor things, easy enough to fix, and nothing that appeared particularly pressing. Now, I had a bit of an idea with this car. The first thing to do with it was to take it on this track day as a bit of a shakedown and also just to have some fun. Give Will here his first ever experience of a track day. And I think in just 3 hours he's managed to experience everything that track day life is all about. He's done his first laps on track. He's broken his first car on track, and he's had some passenger rides in other stuff too. He's really gone through everything. But before this even happened, the poor car was working him quite hard, and I really have to give him some serious credit because I've really taken a sort of more managerial officer type role with this car, partly on account of the fact that I looked at it and bought it and had everything sorted for it when I was about 200 miles away from it. Will has been my man on the ground. And just 6 hours after it got its MOT, it presented its first problem. When the exhaust sheared in half at the catalytic converter. The devil. That was welded up, at least to the point where it will last long enough for me to get a replacement in. And I'm not actually too mad about it, because I was always intending to get a new manifold and sports cat for it. My idea for this car is ultimately to run it as the Radiator Arms track rental car. Obviously, we need to make sure that we are happy with it and it's good enough to rent out, which is why Will is down here doing quality control. Now luckily, the Mini is not the only car I brought here today. We have also come in the 550, which has been back on track. And for those that are long-term followers of the channel, you might know the week I bought this car, I actually took it on track at Brands Hatch, where it didn't do all that well. And today it's done okay. The engine is great, the chassis actually is very, very good. It's a really, really nice car to drive. But the brakes do show their age. They are not fantastic, and compared to just about everything else out there today, yeah, you have to exercise some caution. But I've really had a good time, and hopefully the lovely media team that have come to join us will have got some nice shots of it out and about. I just love this car, and I'm so happy it is back on my driveway, though it's not going to be for very long because a friend is borrowing it for a bit while I am away. Anyway, back to the Mini. So after the exhaust got patched up, Will then took it back, did some more testing on the road as best we could, found out that the expansion tank had cracked, which is a very, very common R53 thing. That was fixed, actually quite cheap to do. I then managed to come home, take the car out, and realised that the harnesses in it were absolutely lethal. I was thinking of buying something else as a sort of temporary track car to then build up as a project, but this already seemed to be half done. It is only when I finally got to see it in person that I realised the seats, they're nice Cobra ones, but for some reason they are the hardest, most uncomfortable things I've ever had to deal with. The harnesses were, well, lethal. You braked and they just came loose, which kind of defeats the point, and the regular 3 points in here are now gone. And the cage in the back is of unknown origin. Let's put it that way. However, I'm still quite happy with this car. In spite of the fact that it's now given us a battery light, which we suspect is due to a dead alternator, which actually should have been replaced fairly recently by the previous owner, but we think was maybe replaced with a used one, not a new one. It was going really well. And I got to give Will some credit. For his first ever time on track, he was doing fantastically. And the plan is to get this car built up into something that's going to be quite capable. So if you happen to have a business that deals with minis and things, and supplies race car, track car parts and stuff like that, I would love to hear from you, because we're definitely going to need some help to get this built up. What about the Rover though? Well, good news. It was a little worrying. You see, we knew that it was going to need welding. Is it really a surprise? It's an old Rover that hasn't been MOT'd for 4 years. This is why, even though it's a track car, I wanted MOT'd. Well, it seems that today, parts for these cars are really hard to come by. 10 years ago, you could get anything you wanted for an old Metro or 100. They're largely the same car. Today, you can't. Everyone I spoke to said that sills and wheel arches are no longer available. And the people that do supply them tell me they have no idea when they're going to get any in. And as you might expect, every car that's out there as a donor car has already got crusty arches as well. The good news, my buddy the Fox did some digging and he found some replacement arches. The sills we're going to have to make, but that's not such a big deal because they're sills, they're relatively simple, and race car, so it doesn't need to look all that pretty. I am so desperate to get that car out and about. I have only driven it about 3 yards to get it off the trailer. That's it. And the aim is to get that car on the road, well, the track, this year. But of course, I want to make sure it is safe when we do that. Bear in mind, this is the car that was finally taken off the road after 17 years of service, because in the then new Euro NCAP score, it got 1 star, the lowest of any car they tested. So yeah, it's got a cage and stuff in it now, of course, but even so, I want to make sure it's tip top. The Mini though, well, that was going great, then gave us a battery light. Fortunately, there is a race team here today, so I've managed to barter with them for a little bit of inspection. They have helped Will the Spanner Gladwell, and we diagnosed the alternator. Another friend has gone off to the local Euro car parts to get a new alternator, and Will has decided he thinks he can fit it. He's got a few hours, and I think he might be able to do it. And so, before I end the video, we'll report back on that. But anyway, that's the life of a car guy, isn't it? And this is the latest member of the fleet.
I can't get the belt tensioner off. I'm gonna cry.
shouldn't have doubted. He's fixed it. He's out there. He's on track. He's having a great time. He's done it. Ladies and gentlemen, Will the Plank. I mean, it's typical, isn't it? I film a video all about the ups and downs of car ownership, and then they happen before my very eyes. But the important thing is the Mini is fixed. Will is an absolute blooming legend, and we've all had a lovely day. We're now wrapping up here on the inaugural Radiator Arms track day. If you want to follow the build of the Mini, please do like and subscribe. And if you want to know how you can join our next track event, well, please also follow the details in the description down below. We've got one more we're booking for this year. The other two sold out instantly, and had a great time. It's been just amazing. Oh, today is everything that being a car guy is all about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.